What's going on, traders? In this video, we're going to talk about the possibility of a government shutdown happening tonight. Is it a buy the dip opportunity, or are we going to see a correction in the market? And if so, where can we go? Before we start, like, subscribe, comment your thoughts below. Let's get into the video. So, tonight, 12 a.m. Eastern Time, we are supposed to get confirmation on whether the government is going to shut down or not. Now, me personally, I do think we're going to get a government shutdown simply because it's something that Trump continues to push for. Even though he's not open with it, it's pretty obvious that it's something that he's trying to push for. Now, if we do get a government shutdown, the question is it a buy the dip opportunity, or are we going to see a correction in the market? Regardless, I do believe that it could be a buy the dip opportunity, but we're going to go over both scenarios, whether it's a correction, how far can we go? And if it's a buy the dip opportunity, well, how far can we go, right? And so when we're looking at the SPY daily time frame, we're going to go over your key levels first. 667.3, 662 is a major level that the SPY continues to hold. 660.8, 654.4, and then 651.1. Now, if we are talking about a buy the dip opportunity, I do believe that if we are looking for an entry point, I would say around 655. Why 655? Right? So if we go to the 4-hour time frame and we get a closer look here, 655 is pretty much where bulls are. We see here that bulls have stepped in every single time we got around this range, specifically 654.4. So you had a wick here, you had a massive bullish candle here. So it's clear as day that bulls are in this area. Then you had two bullish wicks here. So if we do get some type of buy to dip opportunity, I will look for a potential bounce from this area. Obviously, you would need to get below 660, but I imagine if the market, or not the market, but if the government is going to shut down, we'll probably gap down tomorrow. So we'll probably see a pretty aggressive move towards the downside and head towards that 654 target. Right now, something to pay attention to here is that we are looking at an inverse head and shoulders pattern. Right, you have a shoulder here, head here, and another shoulder here. I would argue that it's a little too obvious simply because we're seeing this across the board. Even Nvidia has an inverse head and shoulders pattern. Now, I could be wrong here, but again, like I said, I think this is pretty obvious, right? But if we are talking about more upside and we get above 667.3, then I'm looking at a move towards 670. After that, you're pretty much in price discovery mode. Your all-time highs, 675, 680, 685, 690, so on and so forth. It's pretty much your levels after that, right? But again, if we're talking about a dip buying opportunity, I will look for bulls to hold at around 655. Now, if we are talking about an overall correction, well, I do think we're going to head a little bit lower. Now, it's not going to be anything crazy, in my opinion. Government shutdowns are usually buy the dip opportunities, but if we are going to see some type of correction, I would imagine that we're heading towards 640. There's a lot of support in this area here, and I do believe that we're going to be looking for opportunities to fill these gaps. Now, if we just so happen to head lower than 640, right, 640 all the way down here, I don't know why I was up here, but 640 is down here. If we just so happen to head towards 640, I do believe that we're going to see some type of higher low opportunity. So you have a low here, higher low here, another higher low here. So just to pretty much mark it out for you guys, you'll head towards this area and then you'll create another higher low. So that's what I'm looking at if we are talking about some type of correction. So I don't think we're going to go too far towards the downside. And historically, there's no clear direction on what happens during government shutdowns. It's more so about the economic data that surrounds the government shutdowns on what direction we go. Sometimes we pump towards the upside, sometimes we go towards the downside. It's a very hit or miss type of deal. It's a 50-50 type of deal when it comes to government shutdowns. And it's really based on the type of data that's surrounding it, right? So right now, I'm betting on a government shutdown happening, and I could be wrong. I'm completely fine with that. I don't work there. I don't know what's going on there or anything. I can't say that, I can't say what, everything about the future or anything like that. So but that is my thoughts when it comes to tonight, right? That I do expect some type of government shutdown simply because that's what Trump is pushing for. Now, when we look at the triple Qs here, pretty much the same thing, right? We're going to go over a dip buying opportunity and then we're going to go over a correction type scenario. And right now, when you're looking at the triple Qs, you're trading against this trend line here. So we zoom out on the daily time frame, you got a rejection here, and then you have a rejection here, but it looks like you're trying to head back towards this area and could see a move towards 606. I did tell Discord members that I do expect a move towards 606, 612. I think this was like sometime last week when I said this, and I still stand by that. Now, if government shutdown just so happens to happen and we get some type of dip towards the downside, where can we go? Well, if we zoom in, we have to look at where bulls are, right? We have to look where bulls are when it comes to the higher time frames, right? And so right now, bulls are very heavy at the 590 range, right? Every time we dip towards the downside, we see bulls step in. So you have a bullish wick here, you have multiple bullish wicks here. So I do imagine if we are looking at a dip buying opportunity, that we're simply going to head towards 590 and then we'll pump back towards the upside and start heading towards our targets. It's also possible that we form a double bottom here. I mean, you'll have a bottom here, and then your neckline will be basically here at around 602. So again, if we're looking at a dip buying opportunity, that's what I would be looking at. That's the key level that I'll be looking is at around 590. All right. And then from there, we'll be looking at a move towards 610, 612, which is pretty much my highest target for the intermediate to long term, at least for now. All right. Now, if we're talking about a correction, right? If we're talking about a correction, I pretty much think the same thing is going to happen where you head back towards that key level of about 566, right? And the same thing we saw on the SPY. You have a low here, higher low here, kind of an even low, regardless. You guys get the idea. And so I imagine we head towards this area, and then these bulls in this area are going to step in. So we know, correct, whatever you want to call it. We fill this gap, fair value gap, and then we bounce back towards the upside, and then the market pumps from there. That's what I'm leaning towards if we are looking at a correction. Now there are more gaps towards the downside, and we could see a more violent reaction towards the downside. It's very much possible, but for now, given history, again, government shutdowns are dip buying opportunities. That's usually the case all the time. Now, it all depends on how long the government shutdown lasts as well. But again, if me personally, I think it's only going to last like a day or two. I don't think it's going to last too long. All right, that's just my opinion. Again, I could be wrong. All right, now let's get into some stocks. So today, our Discord bot alerted to us that JPM Morgan or institutions are shorting JPM Morgan. So if we look at JPM Morgan, and crazy enough, Jim Cramer is bullish on banks. Lots of banks looking attractive after that EA deal. JPM, GS still cheap on APE basis. And so today in the Discord, congratulations Discord members, we traded JPM Morgan to the downside. We saw JPM Morgan drop all the way to about 309, and then we actually got in at around 314 in the Discord, 315 actually, and then we traded it all the way down to about 309. Still holding a runner or two, nothing too crazy, but it does look like JPM Morgan is seeing some weakness and we could see some more downside. Now, what I'm looking for here in order to re-enter the position, because we already took majority of our profit off the play, right? What I'm looking for here is a break back into this rising channel, right? If we can break back into this rising channel and actually get a close, I'm looking for a move towards 308.9. We get below 308.9, then I do believe, which is this level right here actually, and I do believe that we're heading towards 299. Now, if we are looking at, where is it, cheddar flow, right? You see here the institutions loaded up JPM Morgan 300 strike puts for October 17th with a 1.5 million premium. Now, if you're wondering why I'm using Cheddar Flow, it's just easier to navigate for YouTube versus Quant Data, and plus Quant Data takes a little to load because it has a lot more information. So I'm not abandoning, like I literally have Quant Data still up, guys. All right, so I just want to make that clear because some of you are like, "Why'd you leave Quant Data?" And it's just like they're basically the same thing. It's just one has more options than the right. It's all about order flow. So I like people like to think that order flow or these like cheddar flow, quant data are like different entities or something like that, and they are in a sense, but they all are showing the same type of order flow. It's just more options, more things to look up. It's all based on what you're into. Okay, now again, when we're talking about JPM Morgan, your key level here is 308.9. Again, I want to see us break below this trend line here or break back within this channel here below 313. If we can get an actual close, so what I look for here is a 4-hour candle close below 313. And then from there, I do believe that we're going to see more downside. Right now, it's pretty much consolidating. But if we can get that confirmation of a break below 313 and actually close, then I believe 308.9 is next. And then from there, you're pretty much smooth selling all the way to about 299. So if we're talking about confirmation here, I mean, this guy says it all. All right. We all know about Jim Cramer, right? So that's what I'm looking for when it comes to JPM or a re-entry back into JPM Morgan. Congratulations, Discord members, on this play. So if you were wondering why I was looking or why I was taking so long to alert another trade, I was pretty much eyeballing this thing majority of the time. Now, another stock that I am looking at or that we actually are trading right now is Lockheed Martin. Lockheed LMT, right? LMT, right? Martin. Where am I getting Morgan? Oh, JPM Morgan. That's why. All right. So when we're looking at Lockheed or LMT, right? We are in. Let's actually look this up real quick. In the Discord, we are in 2028 calls. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but hear me out here, right? So LMT, and it's a pretty expensive contract. It's not made for small accounts. So if you have a small account, I'm sorry, what it is. We're seeing a lot of order flow come in for this play. So you see January 21st, 2028, 600 strike calls. And this actually looks really good. Now, when you're looking at order flow, you want to see consistency, right? And when you look at LMT, I'm tempted to say Morgan, so that's why I'm not saying the name. But when you're looking at LMT and we go to the monthly time frame here, because we're talking about 2 years out, right? You're breaking back within this trend. Not only are you breaking back within this trend line here, but you do have a double bottom, and the month is pretty much over tomorrow. So, as long as LMT stays above this trend here on the monthly time frame and can actually get above 500.4, do believe that Lockheed Martin can head all the way to 619. Now, when that happens, I can't say, and I do not encourage you to get like a week out contract expecting this thing to head towards 600 because it doesn't move like that, all right? And not only that, but a lot of the contracts are terrible for this thing. I tried to look for cheaper contracts for you guys, but it just wasn't happening. So those 2028 contracts are probably the best thing you're going to get. If you find better contracts, feel free to let me know. I will look it up. But for now, if we can get above 500.4 on the monthly time frame and actually hold 619, all right? I do believe that at some point in time we're going to have to get back up here, right? Now, whether this encourages wars going to happen or whatever the case may be, I can't say. But it is very interesting that this play came out considering the type of environment that we are in. So that is what I'm looking at for LMT. Again, we are in this play. We got in at around, I want to say 498, 497 range, and I'm expecting this to continue to pump towards the upside. And I mean, once you get above that 500 level, the sky is the limit. Again, my target for this is 619. Don't expect it to happen in a week. Don't expect it to happen in 2 weeks. Don't even expect it to happen in 2 months. All right, it's going to take time for this play to play out. The sooner, the better. If it plays out tomorrow, that would be great. But I'm not expecting anything crazy anytime soon. Do your own due diligence when it comes to this play. All right, now let's talk about Nvidia. So Nvidia is in a very interesting spot, and like I told you guys, as long as if Nvidia can get above 180, I do believe that Nvidia is going to head towards 1.5, and then from there, I'm looking at 190. Now, if we go to the 4-hour time frame here, right? You're looking at this rising channel. And right now, my highest target for the short term for Nvidia is about 192, right? 192. Now, I'm not expecting it to happen right away, especially with this government shutdown news lingering in the air. But if we get some bullish news tomorrow, whatever the case may be, I do expect Nvidia to see one more pump towards the upside, towards 192, and then we'll probably see a rejection back towards the downside, towards the bottom of this rising channel, possibly fill this gap all the way at 178, and then we do it all over again. My intermediate to long term target for Nvidia is still 230. I'm going to stand by that. I believe it deserves to be in the 200s. It's just a matter of how we're going to get there, right? But for now, short term target, maybe this week it happens. I'm looking at about 192 right at the top of this channel. Now, if we reject from here, then I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, we're pretty close to the top of this channel. But if we continue towards the upside, that's my target. I'm looking 92. Your key level to the downside, if we see some type of rejection towards the downside or retest towards the downside, I'm looking at 184.5. And then from there, I'm looking at 183. All right, 180.3. And then we get below that, then I'm looking at this gap fill here at around 78. That's what I'm looking at for Nvidia. Right. Next stock is Tesla. So Tesla looks looks really good, guys. All right, it looks really, really good. So when you're looking at the 4-hour time frame, you have this inverse head and shoulders pattern here. You have a shoulder here, head here, and another shoulder here. And right now, Tesla is mounting 442, which is a key level, right? I don't know if the government shutdown is going to affect Tesla. Tesla tends to do its own thing from the market a lot of times. When the market is bearish, it tends to pump sometimes, and then when the market is bullish, it dumps. So who knows, right? It's all Elon Musk related, or dependent, I should say, right? So 442 is what I'm looking at. If we stay above 442, Heading into tomorrow, I do expect Tesla to see a move towards this 451 target. If we get above 451, then I do expect Tesla to head towards 466. So pretty much at the top of this channel here is going to be a little bit off, but you guys get the idea. So 466, 470 more or less, and then we'll have to see what happens from there. But for now, I mean, Tesla looks looks really bullish right now. I mean, you close with a bullish engulfing candle. You are on top of this level of 442. It's also important to note that a lot of calls came in between last week and I want to say yesterday for November 21st, and they were all 500 strike calls. Hopefully, I can find them on quant data, right? But you saw a lot of 500 strike calls for Tesla. So I believe these all came in yesterday. So bear with me here. So we look up the expiration date of November 21st, I want to say. So November 21st, and then we look up the 500 strike. And there's a lot of bullish spikes that came in for this particular strike. And as you guys can see, there's a lot of order flow coming in for that particular strike, right? And we know that Tesla has delivery numbers coming up. I want to say tomorrow or Thursday. But Tesla, like they always postpone their dates. So right now, it's saying when you look it up, it's saying the beginning of October. So we're probably not going to get them until next week, especially if we're talking about a government shutdown this week. That's Tesla changes its dates all the time. But for now, I'm looking at Thursday being the date of their delivery numbers. But if it doesn't happen Thursday, then I expect next week. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong there. But again, you're seeing a lot of order flow come in for Tesla. All right. I mean, 255K premiums back to back. I mean, it's just very, very consistent. So it looks like institutions are expecting Tesla to have not only have really good numbers or delivery numbers come in, but a move towards 500. Now, me, I definitely can see that happening. It's just a matter of how we get there. Highest I'm looking at least for my price target, is 480. We don't necessarily have to hit 500 for Tesla. They can take profit anytime they want, right? They probably already took profit. We don't know, right? And I could look it up, but I'd rather you guys do your own research, okay? But regardless, if we are talking about a move towards 500, for now, I'm looking at 480. I'm not looking at anything too crazy above the 500s just yet. Can it happen? Absolutely. But I'm expecting really good delivery numbers. Maybe it's priced in, maybe it's not, but I mean, Tesla has a lot of space towards the upside. And like I told you guys, by the end of this year, I do expect Tesla to be around 700. Highest I'm looking at is 900. My thoughts, you guys let me know what you think in the comments below. Another thing, when you're looking at semiconductor ETFs, it's been a while since I went over these, right? But when we're looking at SMH, so if we are talking about a continuation towards the upside, right? A lot of people or a lot of traders are trying to figure out when the market's going to crash, when it's going to correct, and all that fun stuff. Now, me personally, I don't think we're anywhere near a crash in the market, right? Maybe a correction, maybe even a dip, right? Those make sense. But right now, if we're talking about a crash, I do believe we have a lot more upside to go. Now, when we're looking at the weekly time frame for SMH, right, you have a rejection here, you have multiple rejections here, you have multiple rejections here. I do believe this is where SMH is trying to go. It's trying to revisit this trend. And I can show you guys this on the other ETFs as well. But it looks like SMH is trying to head towards 350, right? Right at the top of this trend, which pretty much supports my idea of a price target for Nvidia being 230. If we head towards 350, I do imagine that Nvidia is going to pump towards the 200s, if not higher, right? But let's say we get a retest towards the downside, which is very much possible. What are we looking at, right? Let's say the government shutdown does happen to affect everything, right, in the market. Well, I would be looking at a retest at around the 303 level right here, because you see multiple retests in this area, and we really didn't retest this area. We kind of just took off and kept going, right? So that's what I'm looking at when it comes to SMH. Now, where that puts Nvidia, I can't say, but what I will say, like I said in the last video, is that Nvidia is a very, very, very good buying opportunity at the 250, no, not 250, 150